Hello, everyone. Welcome to chapter 256 on my RLDR Custom Creations YouTube channel. It is the weekend edition, and as I promised in the last video, we're going to do some coring with my McNaughton center saving system. So, there's no suspense as to what this video is going to be about, but I'd sure appreciate it if you stayed tuned anyway. Well, as I stated in the last video, there was just too much content to throw it into one video. And after watching my first part on YouTube, I think I made the right decision. Basically, that was an introduction to the system and shaping the blank, which I think is important. But in the video that's coming up, you're going to see how I marked out and laid out where the cutter needs to travel, and then I actually cored one bowl or one blank. So I think there's really not much else to say. I'll close it off. I've done a little bit of work since then, so and you always pick up things when you just continue practicing. So anyway, let's get into the video and you can see how the marking out and the coring is actually done. Well, I've got you kind of pulled in nice and tight here. Sorry that you can't see me talking. I always get a little annoyed when I'm watching a video and I hear the talking and I can't see the person talking. So my apologies for that, but this is the best I can do. Now, how thick do I want to make the walls of my cores? There is a rule for that, and I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think it's 10%. So in this case, that's going to work out nicely from what I figured out. This bowl is exactly 10 inches in diameter, and 10% of that, according to my math, is 1 inch. So I'm going to make these bowl blanks 1 inch thick. These blanks aren't completely dry. Like when I grab shavings and squeeze them, I can feel there's still moisture in there. Making a little thicker blank makes this process a little easier, but I'm going to go for 1 inch. And normally you would be coring pieces like this just after the tree has hit the ground. That would be the best time to do it. This is old. It's been around quite a while. There's some cracks from drying in it. I just never got around to coring when I took this down. In fact, I may not even have had my coring set up when I took this down. So it is what it is, and I'm looking at it as a practice piece. I've got a bunch of these here. I'm going to core them all and use that to build my skills. So anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark this out. So I've already told you that I want a 1 inch thick bowl or blank. I already started marking this with a blue pencil, but I realized you couldn't see it. Now, the other thing you have to take into account here is that the cutter is about 3/8 of an inch wide. So you want to put that in there. Just going to make a little mark. The router, jeepers. The felt pen is a little bit inaccurate, but but I think this is you're going to get the picture here. So another inch and then another 3/8. Okay, that's coming out and that's coming out. All right. So now I'm just going to transfer those marks to make this a little easier to see. There we go. Oh, that worked out slick. Okay. Now, could I have got another one out of there? I don't think so. Not anything. This one's going to be small enough as it is. So, okay. So This is all coming out. I'm just going to shade it so you can kind of see what's going on. Okay. And we'll do the inside too. So this is what I'm squiggling on now. That's where the cutter is going to cut. Okay, so that's the front marked. Now we've got to mark the side. And for that, I'm going to move you around to a different location. So hang in there and I'll get you moved right away. Okay, well, with the front marked, now we have to transfer those markings to the side. So the outside bowl here, or core, is 1 inch thick, remember? So at the bottom, we need to measure up 1 inch. Now it's also important how you hold your coring piece in the chuck. I am a dedicated tenon user. I never drill a hole or turn a hole and put the chuck inside and expand the jaws. I've never liked that. I feel that you're putting outside pressure, like pressure from the inside to the outside on your bowl or on your blank. And I think that leads to more catastrophic failures than this method, crunching or gripping the tenon. Now, I have seen tenons tear off. In fact, it's happened to me, but it's fairly rare. And usually the piece of wood is probably shouldn't be turned anyway. So we're going to start measuring here. So the bottom of the core is going to be the bottom of my indexing ring here. So then I'm going to take, I get my ruler in here, kind of estimate 1 inch, be about there. Okay, and remember I need 3/8. I can eyeball 3/8. I don't need to measure that. Hopefully you can see this. I'll maybe tip you over a little bit more. And then we need another inch. So hopefully you can see that. So I'm there. That's about 1 inch there. So it's about here. And then another 3/8. So again, this is coming out. Okay. Then we're going to move the tool rest around here. And we're going to transfer some more lines. It just works easier with the tool rest. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to put the pencil on the rest and push it away from, and it works out pretty much perfectly. Okay. There we go. You know, I've never used the one-way system. I'm not sure if there's as much setup to do with it. I don't know. I've never used it. I am very much in the minority where I live here. Like I've said before in my videos, this is one-way country, and everybody here that's coring that I know of has the one-way system. And it's a good system. In fact, I probably would own it as well. But have I mentioned the fact in my videos that I'm quite cheap? So I managed to get a very, very good deal on this McNaughton system. And I thought for that price, I can learn to use it. So anyway, that is what we're doing here. So now we've got the front marked and the side marked. So now I need to mark the tool trajectory. And that is a little bit more complicated. But for that, I'm going to take the standard tool rest off my lathe and put the McNaughton tool rest on. So I'll be back in a bit. Well, I've got you kind of mounted in a bit of a unique way here. And boy, if you could see the way my tripod's taped onto the headstock of my lathe, you would laugh. but you need to be up here for a purpose. What we're going to do is we're going to make the tool path. So what that means is connecting this line here with the face. Remember the lines I did on the face? Okay, we're going to connect them. All right, so what you want to do, and there are some people on videos that I watch that'll actually get a step ladder for this and stand up high so they can see. I've been trying to do it without that because, I don't know, I just want to see if I can do without it. So maybe I'm a little taller than some of the people that have been doing this. But basically, you want to lay your tool path kind of the center of the chuck. You want it to come to about there. And then you want to line up. This would be the first bowl, the inside one. Okay. And I had to take the cap off my marker, so let's do that again. It is a little tricky, and I understand why people want to be up high for this, and I tried to give you that view in the camera. So I think that's it there. Okay, now I have a bit of a confession to make here. Later on, you'll see a bowl, or maybe not. I'll take that segment out. But I was coring this, and this blank isn't very good, and the foot tore off. So I glued another foot on, and I'm going to show you this on this bowl, so I didn't have to do another one. So hopefully it'll work. I think it will. Okay, so I connected the first bowl, but I've already taken that one out. So the second one, again, the same thing. We want to make sure that we get the tool path. That should about do it. I'd say about there. Okay, now I've got a tool path for both of those. Now in the videos that I've watched, what they do is they take the tool, and we're going to do this one because that's the one I'm going to be cutting. They take the tool and they follow the path, and they follow it out, and when you get this done, the end of the tool points to something in your shop, an object or whatever. Can you see that here? No, you can't. Anyway, it pretty much lines up with my screen here. One of the uprights on my safety screen, and I just adjusted it. We're going to do this again. And I'm just going to pull it, take it out, follow the tool path, see where the handle goes. Yeah, we're there. Okay, so now I've got this part done. But what I think I was missing, I've always had a little bit of trouble adjusting the tool post this way. Okay, like, boy, I'm a little tight here. This way. So where should that tool post go? I think I've got it figured out. So what I would do then is now I have my line, and I would slide this so that the gap between the pins that I want my blade to ride in, I want that when I glance down, I want that as I slide my tool ahead. Well, I'm going to have to move it a bit more. As I slide my tool ahead, there we go. Then I want to be able to make sure that this always stays, that the tool would stay between those two posts. That looks really odd. But yet I think that's probably the way it's going to have to be. There, that's it right there. I like it. Okay, so we're just going to see what that really doesn't look right here, but it's right. The tool is right where it should be according to my things. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put you in a little different position, and we're going to try this. Actually, I thought of this when I was walking yesterday, how that had to be the way it worked. So, and I've never seen that alignment in other videos, but if it works, you'll be the first to see it. Because I think that's the key to this, getting this thing set where it should go. So anyway, I'm going to move you, and then we're going to core this one piece out of this bowl yet. Okay, well, I think I'm ready to start actually cutting into the bowl or to the blank. But there is one thing I'm going to do first. Now, I have a straight cutter as well, and it's a good idea to go in maybe a half an inch or so with this tool so that your curved cutter stays in a little nicer. Okay, so we are ready to go here. I think I'm a little adjusting the banjo to me is the hardest thing in all of this because it has to be in the right place, otherwise your cut doesn't work well. Okay, and speed. I need to take this out. I think the lathe is still going a little bit too fast. Let's see. I think they recommend about 500. I'm gonna go about 450. There we go. I think that's fast enough for me. So let's get at it. I'm just going to make sure that I can move this in and get that lined up before I start. Okay, and I've got good up pressure. You need that. I think that's good. Okay, we're going to move this a little bit. And we're going to lock that. We want that angle there. Okay, let's start it up and do that again. This doesn't take quite as much up pressure because you have to push the tool in. Okay. One of the things, maybe we'll do it a bit of it at the end where I show you how I prepare my cutters. I hope I don't forget to do that because there are some things with these cutters you really, really have to be careful. So we'll do that a little later. But I think I'm gung-ho. I think I'm ready to cut. So let's get this going. We're going to quickly change this. Put that in its cage. I would like a little longer handle, but I don't have one. So, and this works. So, okay, so we're going to go in there like that. And kind of way over here. So hopefully this is going to work. And I'm going to go part way and then I'm going to see if I'm happy with my pathway or not. So we're going to come out, get the lathe going. Okay, I sped up the video about 4 times through this section. Just this little bowl is not really that important, and just checking a few things here, making sure that things are going okay. It's a nice little practice bowl to get started, and it's a little one and it doesn't really matter. And yeah, it came flying out, it broke in half on the floor, and you know, you got to expect that when you're shooting a YouTube video. Okay. Okay, let's take this out. And you know what? If you shoot a video about this, something like that is absolutely going to happen. Okay. All right. So that bowl should be 2 inches. So how do I measure here? Okay, if I would have gone a little further, I think, okay, right now to measure, I'm at about 1.75 inches. So, but had I continued the sweep, I think I would have been right on 2 inches. So that's doing one of them. Okay, now with a bigger bowl, I would probably have moved the tailstock in for this, but this is all pretty tight here, and I'm working way over here. So I don't think I could have done that. But whenever you can, having your tool rest in for this is a great idea. Okay, let's move this over now, realign, and do it again. That should be close. Okay, what I'm looking for here is this lines up with a strip of magnets on the back of my whiteboard that you can't see. So that's my lineup point, and okay, I think that that's it. Okay, now this is the one that you want to make sure, because these two bowls are the ones that are going to be worth something. And if I was selling bowls, which I'm not, but I want to make sure that I get a nice core. So I guess you just finally have to quit talking and do it. Okay, let's get at it. And I sped it up again. It's I think a little easier to see the tool movement when you're going a little faster. This is sped up 4 times. I had a couple little issues here. One, I just keep checking my tool path. I think once I get into this new system of mine, the confidence will be increased, and I maybe won't check as often. The one thing though that did happen is my lathe speed kept adjusting. I'd start out at about 450, and all of a sudden it would be cruising at about 650. And man, it sounds like serious things are going to happen when you only speed up 200 RPM when you're doing this. But other than that, things went fairly smoothly on this one. I did adjust the tool post a little bit because the cutter was rubbing on the outer bowl. And even though, you know, with my new system that may not happen, but you still have to watch and adjust according to what's happening. So don't assume that you're just going to set it at one place and it's going to work perfectly all the time. Things always come up that change things. Now, what I was trying to do there is just pop it out with my fingers. But I didn't wait quite long enough. There it goes. And I didn't push very hard because I didn't want to break the bottom out, but there it went anyway. Okay. This one just came out nicely. The advantage of having the tailstock in, that wouldn't happen, and that I would like. But let's see what we got here. So we should have 3.5 inches. Oh, pretty much dead on. So yeah, when you get this set right and get that curve, I also noticed when I reset this, at the beginning I was kind of pulling this way a little bit, and actually you can see that in this bowl. It's not quite perfect here. But I think for first time turning, this is going to get turned again. This is plenty good. There's lots of thickness there yet. And this one is absolutely wonderful. So there's no problems with this one. The depth is right. Everything's good. So yeah, when it works out, and the only thing that I've ever had go wrong with with this McNaughton coring system is the bull, the first one that you saw come popping out, and it broke. That and but that's minor. I guess if I really, really wanted to, I could glue it together. But this wood is worth really nothing. It's leftovers from the tower poplars that we had surrounding our yard for many, many years as we've lived here. So we took them all down one year because they were all sick, and that's it. So anyway, well, we're going to close this video off, and I'm going to say a few things about this system. But yeah, hang in there. We'll keep going. Well, hopefully you found this video helpful. I know that I sure would have. But I think the key thing for me in this video, because I learned something as well, that whole idea of when you're finding your tool path, sighting that through the two pins that your cutter is going to be between, that it stays in those two pins all the way through the arch. I think that's the key to setting, and then locking your tool rest in place doing that. So yeah, kind of a strange video in a way. I thought of this when I was walking Thursday morning yesterday, and I thought that's got to work. So I had to put a foot on. Where is that bowl? Yeah, this one was the one I actually tore a foot off because the wood is really quite poor. So I thought, well, I'd cord the small bowl already, and when I figured out that I was going to see if this new idea of mine worked, setting the tool post. So I did that, and then I cored this, and I thought I was getting it all on video. Apparently not. I didn't turn the camera on. Oh my goodness. Some days. But you know what? When you get focused, when you're shooting video, you get focused on doing the content right. And I forgot about the video part of it. So anyway, the video you see in that sped up that you see is not um, from this bowl where I had this new technique of mine. It's from the previous day. So yeah, it's again, it's a pretty dry blank. I stop and check things a couple of times, but that doesn't really matter. Um, that whole lining up when you're doing this tool path thing, sighting it through the two pins you're going to use on your tool post, and then locking your tool, your banjo in place. On the second video, well, I made a wee little adjustment because my tool post was too close, and I forgot to lock the banjo. So here I'm cutting with the banjo sliding around, but it all turned out. So yeah, with that in mind, I'm going to leave you with a few pictures of some of my students' work at the end here. Unfortunately, two of my students actually went and got summer jobs in a different province a month ago, at least 6 weeks. So they've missed 4 or 5 classes, which is too bad because they were doing some neat things. And unfortunately, I didn't take a picture of a lot of this stuff. Like my drummer guy took, made sticks out of 3 different woods, and he knows what sticks should be. We had a postal scale here. We weighed everything. They're nice. He did 3 nice sets of drumsticks, and that's not the easiest turn either. He made a drum pad. And then there's another thing that I do have a picture of, and I'm not even sure what it is again, to be sure. But I really appreciated that student because he would research things and he would just show me, and I want to make this. So I would cut a blank and we'd put it in the lathe and he'd make it. So I really like it when I have students that are that capable that they can do that. My acoustic guitar builder was another one of those students that was gone for the last month, over a month. And his guitar just, well, nothing gets done if you're not here. So we'll continue it next year. We'll get it done. But my students, when they have a chance to work and earn some money, which I do appreciate, it shows that they've got good work ethic and they're interested in doing well. So no, hats off to them. My longboard student, you see his work. It's a beautiful board. He rides it a lot. Exactly the guy who should have built a board like that. Plus, he's been turning for the last while, which is really cool. Um, my last but not least, my electric bass builder. He actually was here, like this is Friday. He was here yesterday to finish off a few things, and he just wanted some help putting some things together. And we did that, and he's going to take it home and string it. And so I have a picture of it on Wednesday afternoon when we had class. So it's come a little ways since then, but it looks really cool. And that little sunburst that he did with blue and black, he did that all himself. I mixed some dye for him, but he did all the work himself. I have no hand in that. And I think it's pretty cool for his first attempt. But anyway, very successful students. I had an 11-year-old in the shop yesterday afternoon making a sword and a shield with the president of the Saskatchewan Woodworkers Guild. That's her nephew. And so we had a little bit of guitar building, a little bit of bandsaw work. It was all fun. So, anyway, with that in mind, the next edition will come out probably middle of next week, which is Canada Day here. The end of next week, my American friends will be celebrating the 4th of July, but I will be extending formal greetings in my next video. So this one's coming to an end. Take care. Have a great weekend. Hey, the sun's shining now. Awesome. It'll be raining by the time I get this edited. But take care. Have a good weekend. We'll see you next week.